Alright guys, so this is the second part of our larger episode that we ran over on time a little bit. So this part is going to be basically Preds news and our evaluation of the Preds performances so far.
Alright, so I guess it's time to talk about the Predators Hockey Club.
The Nashville Predators club.
So I honestly don't remember the last time we did record, which I have been gone a long time, but we went through a long stretch of having lots of losses. We went through a period there of Predators hockey we don't really want to talk about.
We talked about all that last time.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, we went through a bad slump because I know at the beginning of the season I'd commented about how good our passing looked, how good I thought the team was going to be. I thought we were going to be a top 3 team. And then we were doing well, we were doing all right, and then we just kind of dipped to one of the I can't remember what the lowest standing we went was.
We were in 7th at one point.
Well, like in the league though, I think we were maybe
I have no idea.
Maybe like 25th at least.
Probably.
I want to say someone wants me to say 28th, but I don't
think it was that bad.
But either way,
because we were never last in the Central.
Okay.
At any point, I don't think.
I'm not sure, but yeah, we went through a long stretch of losing games. We're just struggling to score. Couldn't really get offense going, and then in the past 10 or 11 games, we started picking it up. Power play unit started picking it up. Tolvin's doing really well. Like what I've seen from him. I've always said he had a good shot. I said at the beginning of the year that he had a good shot when we first started this podcast. And the only thing he really needed to improve on was his maybe basically his overall play. And I think that's what he's done. Because, I mean, in all honesty, if you take a player that has the greatest shot of all time and you put him on a power play unit, he still won't maybe do that well. But he's improved his passing, he's improved his skating, I think, and his physicality out there, and I think it's doing well for him. And I can't wait to see what he has in store for the future. I mean, there for a while until he got injured, people were saying that he could possibly catch up for Calder.
Which is Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, Rookie of the Year trophy, and he was going to catch up for Calder. What is the word I'm looking for? Consideration, I guess. And which I think he still needed, like, the game I looked into it, I think he still needed like 15 or 18 more points to even tie Kaprizov. Which Kaprizov's a good player, but I don't know, just some players do well for a couple months and then they just stop. But especially with Kaprizov, I think he was like a 5th round pick, which is wild. It's funny because he's on the Wild. I didn't mean to do that, but yeah, he's on the Wild. He's a 5th round pick, and for him to be doing that well is good for the Wild. But I would like Tolvin to get Calder. That'd be pretty cool.
Because the Predators definitely don't have any Calder trophies in team history. I don't think they do.
Yeah, not that I can remember either. But we were doing well. I think we're still doing well. I mean, we have, I think, out of the last 12 or 13 games, we've only lost 2 or 3.
Last I saw, like, in the past, I want to say it's the past 14 games, we've won 11 of them. Which is pretty good. It was. I remember it's really basically good. when Saros came back off an injury, like, he had won, or since Saros came back, he had posted like a .965 save percentage, allowed like a total of 8 goals in 10 games, like 2 shutouts or something.
Yeah, so Saros is a big part of that too, and I was going to mention that, and he's definitely backstopped the team in this whole stretch.
The goaltending in general has been what's keeping us afloat. Which
and even not even talking about the game last night against the Lightning. And Michael said it on the Twitter, on his tweet he sent out last night. And, again, follow the Twitter, follow the Instagram, follow all of our social media. Follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. But Michael said it last night, but for it to be a 3-0 loss, and we had a majority, I would say a majority of our starters, we had Forsberg, Tolvanen, Duchesne, Faber out. Already, that's 4 play. That's not even a half. I'm not even sure that's a quarter of our...
Let me pull up the... hold on.
I'm not even sure if that's the injured reserve
The Stars
list.
scored, by the way. We're down 1-0. Predators just tweeted that out, unfortunately.
Okay.
But yeah, I was about to go back and look at the starting lineup for last night, which if you had read this out, let's just see what the starting lineup is for this night. It's literally the exact same as last night. Starting lineup: Callie Yarncroke, Mikhail Granlund, Luke Cunnin, Roman Josi, Matt Benning, and UC Saros. So literally, other than Pekka and Saros, like, it's the exact same starting lineup. So if you had showed that to somebody at the beginning of the season, everybody would have just been like, "Excuse me, did we trade everybody?" But the fact that that's a starting lineup on the Nashville Predators is just... We have had so many injuries, and even despite all those injuries, we've somehow been performing at a very good level, mostly in part due to goaltending. So, but the fact that we're down so many players, that's why, like I said last night, we only lost 3-0 to one of the best teams in the league with more or less Pekka, Josi, and the Island of Misfit Toys. So, having only lost 3-0, and the third goal was an empty netter, so it was basically 2-0. Like I said before, empty netters don't really count in my opinion.
And even then, the empty netter, if you guys go back and watch the replay, like, I can't remember who made the pass, but there was a defenseman on the left side of the ice in our zone, and I'm not sure if he was passing it to the person who was in the middle of the ice or who was on the far right side of the ice. If you're looking from, like, your back to our goal. But it was either a bad pass or just got intercepted. So, I mean, really, we almost could have just lost 2-0. But, yeah, that's what I was going into, was, like, with not even a fourth of our players. Well, the Tolvanen, Duchesne, Fabro, and Forsberg being out. Those 4 players not even being a quarter of our injured reserve list. And we still lost 3-0, and we had a dominant first period. It was a terrible third period, if I'm being honest. I mean, they came back from being outshot by double to really outshooting.
It was like 17-5 in the first. After the first period.
Yeah, it was like
in favor of us, but we were still down 1-0.
Yeah, it was about double or more than double the shots in the first period, and then over the last 2 periods, they came back to, I think, outshooting us. Which I went into that game knowing that we had, not a good lineup because of the injuries. But I mean, if we could have kept up the pace, what I'm trying to say is basically if we would have kept up the pace, kept the intensity through the first period all the way through the third, we would have won that game, and we definitely could have. But for whatever reason, I don't know if it was what the Stars changed or we just kind of backed off a little bit. Because we were on pace for 60 shots, which I don't even know if that's ever happened, but probably. But 60 shots on Vasilevsky, we definitely would have won that game.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm happy with the way we played in the first period at least. I think we, like I said, could have improved second and third for sure. But I mean, we're still doing pretty well. We're still in the playoffs as of now.
Yes, we have 45 points. Chicago's right behind us with 43.
Yeah, and I think
both with 42 games played.
I still think we have a possibility. Oh, the Stars only have 2 shots and they have 1-0. That's kind of stupid. Yeah, we'll watch the replay here in a little bit, see what happened. But I mean, it's literally 11 minutes to go in the first. We still have a chance to win this game too. Mm-hmm. I couldn't care less who scored first. It's about the last 50 minutes of the game. But I like the way we've been playing a lot more. And another thing with Ryan Ellis coming back, he even mentioned it in one of his post-game interviews, that even though we lost and we had a lot of injuries, he said that the mentality was there. We played really well. and that he was happy to see that we came out of our little slump. And I think if we keep the style of play, keep the power play rolling, I'm not sure how good the penalty kill's been. I don't think it's been terrible.
We killed a 5-on-3 during the last game. What was the game before last night's? Was it the Red Wings?
I think
where
so.
where we scored the touchdown. Where we killed a 5-on-3, which we shouldn't have even been on, but I don't know. The officiating in that Red Wings game was just absolutely atrocious as well. I don't know what it is, but we're getting screwed over on a lot of stuff here recently. First, it was that hot mic incident where he was just like, yeah, I wanted to give the Predators a penalty or whatever. And then when Matt Benning got just completely got boarded by, what was his name? Arne, Arne from the Red Wings, where he just got completely destroyed up on the boards. And
yeah, that was really dumb.
Was it Olivier that went and fought the dude?
It was Benning that got boarded.
Benning got hit.
And then Olivier got like, it was some kind of fight.
He got an instigation penalty,
which is stupid
because like the dude literally just straight up injured Benning, and then he got his 5-minute major down to a 2-minute minor because Benning wasn't hurt.
Yeah, it was really
which
dumb.
is just ridiculous. You shouldn't officiate based on whether or not the guy is hurt or not. It's based on what you did on the ice, where it's like it doesn't matter if Benning didn't get hurt. Like that's an offense that should have gotten that dude kicked out of the game, but instead they reduced that they intentionally reduced the penalty because he wasn't hurt, and that's what got John Hines fired up and got him a penalty, which, I mean, almost never happens in hockey. The bench getting a penalty, so that put us down to a 5-on-3 for like 1 minute and 50 seconds that we were able to kill off. So, but it was a penalty kill situation that we never should have been in, regardless, because we got completely screwed over by officiating, and John Hines made the referee very aware of it. John Hines is a pretty mild-mannered guy when it comes to just like being on the ice and in press conferences too. Like I had never seen him go ballistic like that his entire time with the Predators up until then.
I need to try to find some video because I wasn't able to watch the game, but from what I've heard, a lot of people said it was pretty crazy too. So I mean, he got a penalty, so obviously it was. But all that being said, I mean, I think our gameplay has come back to where I thought it was and how I believed it could be at the beginning of the season. Especially when I commented on how good our power play could be, the first couple games I went to. And I think we'll be just fine. I think we still have a chance to be third, as my original prediction was.
I don't know about third because we only have 14 games left. Yeah, because it's 52 games. We only have 10 games left, not including tonight. Yeah. So we're 11 points behind Florida right now. So unless Florida loses out and we win out, I don't think we're gonna get third. But I think that we should just aim for holding that fourth spot, because if we continue to play the way we have been with this group, and if we get a majority of the people back healthy, then I think that bodes good for a playoff series, which would probably be against, as of right now, it would be against Carolina, but Tampa could easily take that as well. Actually, they're tied for points right now, but Tampa Bay has a slightly worse winning percentage because they have 2 more losses and 2 less overtime losses, but 1 more win than Carolina does. But I feel like if the goaltending stays hot and we actually get people back healthy, then at this point, with how Saros is playing, he could possibly steal 1 or 2 games in the Carolina series and then play just well enough for us to upset the number 1 seed, whoever that ends up being.
Yeah, I forgot it was a 52-game season, but
yeah, the regular season's almost over, which is crazy.
Yeah, I'm liking our play so far. Have we won a game against Tampa this year?
Yes, we have.
Ryan Ellis just scored.
Oh, perfect. Yes, sir.
But
we have one. It was on that 8-game road trip. We closed it out by beating the Panthers and Tampa Bay, I think. Before we started, it was like the 8-game road trip we went on. We beat Tampa once, we beat Florida once, and then we came back for the home stretch and we rattled off like 10 wins in a row or something.
Yeah, so we beat them. Carolina.
Granted, like we're like 3-10-1 against the top 3 seeds in the division right now, which isn't good, but I feel like we're trending in the right direction to the point where I feel like we could possibly steal a series from them.
I don't know if we've lost a game. I mean, I won a game against Carolina either. I looked at it. I couldn't see one we won.
I'm not sure.
But, I mean, I think I had touched on the first podcast episode or maybe one of the first couple. But, I mean, Carolina has always had potential to be good, especially with Aho and Svechnikov, and they have a couple other good players. I think their goaltending is surprising. I haven't really paid attention to their goaltending, but their goaltending isn't like stellar off the top of my head. It's like Peter Mrazek, I think, or maybe Bernier, but they don't have like all-star goalies, but I mean, clearly it's been working for them so far. But I don't know. I don't know what to think about the playoffs right now, honestly.
Yeah, as of right now, we are in 4th in the division, so I feel like we have a pretty good shot of making it. As long as we stay the course with how we are right now, then we just need to keep that 4th. We need to keep that 4th seed locked, and just hope that we can steal a series and maybe go on a magical run like we did in 2017. But I mean, those are 2016. But don't expect that to happen, because like those type of runs are literally once in a lifetime thing. They're just once every couple of decades. Like those don't just happen.
Oh, they have James Reimer, and Peter Mrazek. And like I'll look at a couple more games, but in one of their games against Tampa Bay, he had like a .86 save percentage, which they didn't have that many shots. But
do you think that we should do anything at the trade deadline? 'Cause I think that's tomorrow, isn't it? Either tomorrow or Tuesday. At the time of recording this, the trade deadline is either the day after this is being recorded or like 2 days later. So
there for a while, people were thinking we should trade, because this was during the whole slump period. Mm-hmm. People were saying we were either going to trade Ellis or Ekholm. But, I mean, I've always thought Ekholm is better defensively, and Ellis is better offensively. Did I say that right? Yeah. So Ekholm is better defensively, and Ellis is a more offensive-minded defenseman. Ellis plays great defense, don't get me wrong, but I think he's good at both, but he's definitely better at offense, I think. I mean, even like 5 minutes ago, Ellis scored. So I mean,
no matter what we do, I don't think we should trade for anybody, because I mean, with the way the team is now, even when everyone was healthy, we weren't playing amazingly. So I think that we still need to keep as many draft picks as we can for the future, and not just buy rental players for just this season, because
I think that's what David Poyle's plan was anyways, because he was looking, and a lot of people, Twitter GMs are like, well, we shouldn't, exactly what you said. They were like, well, we shouldn't trade for a specific player because we won't get all the use out of them. What we should do is trade someone who has 1 or 2 years left on a UFA contract, trade them for a draft pick or something like that, which is fair, because, I mean, you can get a lot more out of a rookie a rookie contract is 3 years right off the bat, I think, or up to 3 years, so you can get more out of it.
Yeah, it's just a really weird position to be in, because literally a month and a half ago, it's like, oh, sell the whole team. We're not doing anything this year. And then we go on this run where it's just like, we're still not going to make a ton of noise in the playoffs. And no matter, we shouldn't sell anybody really or at least sell a bunch of people, because we got a good thing going. We can make the playoffs. We're in good position to do so. we probably won't go too far regardless of if we buy or sell, but don't want to break up that chemistry either that we have going on right now, regardless of, and a bunch of pieces that we'd want to trade are also injured too, so it's kind of hard to move an injured player as well, which sucks, but it just happens that way. So can't really buy, can't really sell. You don't want to just stand pat because, I mean, what are the odds that we actually go on a Stanley Cup run again? Very low.
I think we do something. I don't know if it's like trading, a pick for, because I remember last year, really the last couple of years we've done something, like whether it be trading for like Hartman, Wayne Simmons, getting rid of like Fiala, getting Granlund, things like that. And Johansson was like the first big trade I remember. Well, it was like, I say I remember, but it was the most recent. The first big trade before we traded like Weber away. I think we still had Weber at that point. But it seems like in the past 5 or 6 years we've done something at the trade deadline every single year.
But yeah, I hope that the Predators do well, but being realistic about it, if we do make the playoffs, are we really going to get past Tampa? Probably not. But if we do get past Tampa, I feel like we get past almost anybody in the league. Like when we swept the Blackhawks.
Yeah, exactly. So when we beat the Blackhawks, it was kind of like they were the top seed, and we just everyone. The expectations from there on out was like everybody afterwards is not as good, which, I think we all knew. Obviously, in the finals, we knew Pittsburgh was going to be just as good as us, if not better. But I think our goaltending killed us in the finals.
Officiating killed us in the finals.
Well, I was
screwed in Game 6.
I don't like to be that way. Yeah,
we could have played better, obviously.
I was gonna say that. Don't get me wrong, because we literally, I think that goal. What was it, like the tying goal?
The non-goal. It would have been the opening goal of the game. We would have gone up 1-0, but they called it dead super quickly. I feel like if we scored that goal, we would have won that game.
Because
we would have had the momentum going in our favor, been up 1-0. It wouldn't have. I don't know. I feel like if we score that goal and if they don't call the puck dead way too early than they should have, then we win that game. And then go to Pittsburgh for Game 7.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. I don't like mentioning officiating, but in something like that where the refs just go, sorry, there's nothing we can do. There's not a replay on, calling the play dead. Which is stupid if you think about it. Like, if a ref can't see the puck, why is he standing there? Like, why
it's your job to be able to see the puck.
Why are you standing in front of the goalie when someone could shoot the puck and it goes straight behind the goalie and you can't see it? It could be literally.
And it's fine to call the puck dead if it's like 5 straight seconds of not being able to see it, but it was like maybe...
It was literally rolling
maybe
out.
1 second.
Yeah.
And then like you hear the whistle blow and then literally a second later you see the puck just slide right behind the goalie into the net.
Yeah.
It's like in football when like it's really questionable whether they got the ball over the plane of the end zone and they don't call a touchdown. It's like just call a touchdown because every scoring play in the NFL is automatically reviewable. So even if it's not a touchdown, just call it and be like, oh yeah, after review, the ball didn't cross the plane of the end zone, but it's on like the 1-inch line, so now it's second down.
And another thing the NHL could do...
It's better to be safe than sorry.
Which this is random, but another thing the NHL could do is instead of like every goal is reviewed, because that takes away the whole thing about challenging, you could do anytime the puck enters the net. Which is dumb, but if you think about it, there's a couple times where the puck enters the net after, time runs out or, I don't know, just every time the puck enters the net, it's it's reviewed. Not if they call it a goal, it's reviewed, but if the puck enters the net, it's reviewed.
Yeah.
Because
clearly they reviewed that penalty on Arnie or whatever his name is and took it down from a 5-minute major to a 2-minute minor. So they reviewed that penalty and they were just like, oh, no, it's going to be reduced now. So if they can do that, then why can't they review a possible goal scoring chance?
And I know.
Again, this is like 4 years later, but still.
Yeah. I know what I said kind of sounds dumb, but I mean, because obviously if you have a goal, it's not about. I'm trying to think of a better way to word it other than don't review every goal, but review when the puck enters the net, because obviously that sounds like a goal. But in that exact case, the puck entered the net after a whistle was blown, but they say,
didn't the horn go off too?
I think so. I don't even know. I mean, honestly, because it's just so dumb that the refs literally said we can't review it.
Yeah,
like it just makes no sense. And like you said, it's 4 years later, and it's literally pointless talking about it, but it does annoy me because simply the fact that the refs just said, "Oh, we can't review it. Sorry." Like, really, you just got to look at us and do another face off in the zone. It's so dumb.
Yeah, but you can't change history, unfortunately.
I think the Predators have a history of having, literally, I mean, even here recently, the ref that got fired for saying he wanted to call penalties on the Predators, it's apparent, or I mean, it's obvious that Predators have a history of refs just disliking us for no reason.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying they just call penalties for no reason. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there's a definite bias.
The problem is, like, that stuff definitely happens more often than the one time it got caught on a hot mic, but, like, we don't know.
And more so in
it.
the playoffs, too.
But
you cannot tell me that referees do not have favorite teams. You cannot tell me that. It's impossible. Especially, I mean, there's a reason you're working in the NHL. I'm not a favorite, or I don't watch hockey and go officiate for the NFL. That makes no sense. So, I mean, you can't tell me NFLs don't have favorite teams. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, there's NFL refs that like the Sabres or like the Senators, but I mean, it's just stupid. But anyways.
Yeah, officiating, it's never going to be perfect, and unfortunately, that's just, no matter what sport it is, it's never going to be perfect, and when it actually starts affecting games, that's when stuff needs to happen. When it's just like, oh, you accidentally called a holding call, like in the NFL, it's like, oh, you missed a holding call on like 1st and 10, and it's in the first quarter, and they got like a 15-yard run off it. It's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things, but when it starts legitimately altering the outcome of the game, like that Rams Saints game a couple of years ago with that blatant defensive pass interference, and then it's just like, it just got no called, and literally everybody and their mother could tell. It's like, yeah, that's a penalty, by the way, but the NFL referees are just like, no, I didn't see anything.
Yeah, with football, it's a different story. I mean, it's just
because it's one play at a time, and there's a lot of officials around, but like with hockey, it's so back and forth.
And another thing I've heard too is like sometimes refs will call penalties when they happen, which you would think is what they're supposed to do. They call them when they happen, but and other times the game is already over. Like we're up 7-1 against Detroit, and Detroit trips one of our players. Like, should they call a penalty? Yeah, but the game's already over. There's no really reason in calling a penalty on the Red Wings if we're just going to score an 8th goal. I mean, I think they call it like letting them play or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
which is fine to an extent, but it's just like when players start actively taking advantage of that, that's a problem. Or when referees take advantage of the opposite effect.
And then there was the one clip. There was the one clip of like Crosby just straight up cross checking PK in the back. I didn't understand how that slid, but again, it's
because the Golden Boys get a bit of preferential treatment. It happens in every league, unfortunately. Like just this past week in baseball, for those that don't really follow baseball, the Marlins, I think, or no, it was the Mets. The Mets, and it was an M team where I forget who it was, but the bases were loaded. It was in the bottom of the ninth. It was tied 2-2. Dude at bat, he's just sitting in his batter stance. He leans into a pitch, and the pitch hits him on the elbow. If you get hit by a pitch, it's an automatic walk. So with the bases loaded, that's an automatic RBI. They win the game. But you can't lean into a pitch like that because it's obvious that you're just trying to get a free base hit. And it was very obvious that he leaned into it, but they didn't call it. And they literally won the game because the dude just blatantly cheated and the umpire didn't call it. So that's the most like egregious one that I can think of recently that some people would probably know about that because it was all over Twitter for a little bit too. For good reason. It was ridiculous watching the clip. It's just like, how do you not call that? So yeah, officials suck. Everyone hates them for good reason. But ladies and gentlemen, I think that is going to wrap up this episode of the podcast. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, I can already hear the fans cheering my name outside. I'll be outside shortly.
But we hope you enjoyed. Hope you tune in next week. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share the podcast everywhere you want. Follow us on the social medias. And we will see y'all next week. Hopefully. Come back and see us next time on RookieMode.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Peace.
Hey, my name is Christopher Walken, and today I'm doing a podcast.